Hello, and welcome to Havoc Wargaming, dedicated to bringing you the uncommon. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Ron, and today we're going to do a review of the 5 Parsecs from Home Compendium from Modiphius Games. So let's get started. A while back, I got interested in playing some 5 Parsecs from Home, an excellent narrative solo game. It's got one of the strongest narrative creation, not just the creating your party, your crew in the game, but of telling an actual narrative story of that crew as it travels about the galaxy and takes care of various jobs that it may have. I did a campaign here on Havoc Wargaming. I'll put a link to that up here. I kind of stopped that after a while, and part of that was because it was getting a little redundant. Also, I was trying to put one up every month, and it was getting to be a bit of pressure on me to do it as well. But also, some of my last few games seemed a little redundant. They were very much the same as games I'd already played, and I kept really rolling a low number of opponents. So I'd set the game up and make my rolls and end up with an underwhelming game. And I frankly lost some of my interest in it. This book is going to help with that. Now, this book, some of this has been out before. This book consists of a number of products put together. Basically, it's 3 expansions. I don't think the 3rd expansion was released, but it's basically 3 expansions and Bug Hunt. Bug Hunt is a variation of the game that allows for a more Aliens or Starship Troopers version of the game, where you're playing soldiers fighting an alien race. That's a little bit of a different feel, but it still does the sort of campaign nature. I also just noticed looking through it that you can recruit your characters out of your normal 5 Parsecs campaign into the Bug Hunt game, or they can retire from the military into 5 Parsecs. So I think that's kind of an interesting, clever idea if you get tired of just the bug hunting version. Now, I mentioned that I thought this was going to add a lot or deal with some of the redundancy issues I've got. I'll kind of get at why this is, but this is basically a bunch of optional additional rules. So there's an updated campaign sequence here in the start. There's some new character types that were invented. There's a handful of character races already that you roll for when you start. They've added a couple of those. They've added the possibility of using psionics, if that's something that interests you, and then determine how psionics fit into your galaxy system. It could be it's illegal. Maybe it's illegal on some of the planets. Maybe it isn't. So that's all very interesting. I may play around with some of that. There's a few pieces of new personal kit. There's also new bot upgrades, new ship parts, some psionic equipment. But here's where I'm expecting to see some real changes, and I really want to put this in effect. I'll probably revive that campaign. Progressive difficulty. There's a couple of different new charts. There's 2 different options basically on how to do it to help increase the difficulty of your campaign if you're finding it's going a little too easy. On top of it, there's whole difficulty toggles, which are other options to increase that issue, make it a little harder. Part of that is to change the numbers, so the numbers are always going to be higher than you, which I don't think is a bad idea. I kind of liked it being random in theory, but I think I played 3 games in a row where I had like 2 opponents, and they were just like gangers or something, or they were wimps. So I think I may play with some of this and see what I think. There's rules for changing your progression. I haven't seen the progression to be a real issue yet, but a number of things for making some of the opponents a little more specialized, or for limiting the time that something is taking place, and all of these I think are worth giving a try. Now, in an unrelated fashion, there are now player versus player rules, so the game could be played in a normal wargaming fashion, which is not the way it worked before. There's expanded rules. There already were some co-op battle rules, but they've expanded those if you want to play co-op versions. I really like co-op games. This is maybe it's my role-playing background, but as a wargaming thing, I think co-ops are pretty new. But I think it's a lot of fun when you're actually all working towards the end against an AI bad guy. Another variation that I think is going to really improve some of the challenges I had are AI variations. The bad guys have letters that set how they fight and which AI structure you would use based on whether they're aggressive or defensive or tactical, but they all still are being pretty, there's very similar reactions. Well, this here has a new chart. They had done that to reduce the amount of rolling you do, and now he's realized maybe he needs a little more. So these are charts that roll and will change up some of the action amongst each of those categories. That's going to help make things a little more interesting and less redundant. Enemy deployment variables and changing how the games begin. Again, that's going to help break things up. Elite level enemies. All of these are additions that I really think are going to help shake it up and get rid of some of the redundancy. I should probably mention too, before I really felt it was getting redundant, I played, I don't know, 7, 8 games or something. I kept it going for a while. So we'll bring it back. I'll bring my old Weasel crew back up and we'll do a couple videos and we'll use some of these new rules. This doesn't interest me a lot, but there's a whole combat resolution for not even using minis, making it more like a role-playing game in general. I think I can see how that could be useful. One of the problems with those letdown games is that I had to set them up. I had to put out scenery and prepare for it, and here I'm filming videos on top of it, which most of you, of course, won't be doing. But that might be interesting too. I think it's a little weird when it's a solo campaign game, but not sure what you're actually doing. There's some variations on how to do missions. There's some new types of missions. A whole lot more on on quests and how quests work, which is good because they're kind of ill-defined in the original book. There's means for more dramatic weapons and more dramatic combat. A number of options. I think what they're really trying to do here, which I think is pretty cool, is they're trying to give you rules and variations of those rules to make the game what it is you want it to be. And that's great. It's you use your creativity and your wishes and make the game be whatever it is you want it to be, rather than it just being the idea of the writer and what the writer had in mind. So all of that I think is great. A whole lot of stuff on scenarios and settings and rules for setting up. There's an introductory campaign in here to get you started. Not a bad way to go, by the way. I've seen this before. I had some of the expansions previously. A lot of good stuff in here. And I think anybody who plays this game will find some things in here that are useful. I'm really looking forward to applying it myself. I think this is a very good purchase. It's a regular hardback book. Oh, I was way wrong about pages. It's 229 pages, so pretty substantial. It's a sort of smallish book. It's one of those European sizes. Let's see, it includes Bug Hunt. This will be important if you have bought expansions yourself and don't want duplicates. It's got Bug Hunt, which was available, Trailblazers Toolkit, which was available, Freelancer's Handbook, which was available. I think it's the Fixer's Guidebook was the one that was new, and maybe that even came out. But here they're all put together in one hardback book, which I think is a really nice feature, and it's a beautiful, beautiful book. So yeah, if you play 5 Parsecs, this is definitely worth getting. If you don't play 5 Parsecs, I would suggest trying it. I think it's a very good game. Recently I was asked how I thought it compared to Stargrave. I will tell you this: I never played Stargrave. I've played Frostgrave. I've played Rangers. I love Silver Bayonet, but I got this shortly after Stargrave. Now they're different because this is really basically a solo game, except now with the expansion for Force versus Force. But it was really written as a solo game, and Stargrave is not. But I stopped even reading Stargrave's rules when this came out. I really like 5 Parsecs. In fact, I haven't played with them yet, but I've bought their Napoleonic version and their World War II version as well, because it really carries that narrative part of a campaign better than a lot of these kind of books do. What I'd really love to see, and maybe I should do it, is I play some of the 2-hour war game books, and they're a similar sort of campaign-driven narrative storyline book. I think what I'd really like would be a combination of the 2-hour war games combat system and with their reaction fire rules applied to the campaigns system from this book, which is really a nice campaign structure. It's not is random and is rolled as a 2-hour war game one is. It's more, you make certain choices, you have your crew do different jobs, you roll to see how those go and what comes out of that, and then and get jobs and things, and those will lead to the games you actually play. So yeah, great game, great game. 5 Parsecs, I'm looking forward to bringing that back up and seeing how this will affect that campaign. I'm also, like I said, I think I'll try to do it when I'm in the mood, not try to meet a monthly schedule on that. If any of you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section down below. Also, if you play 5 Parsecs yourself and would like to make comments about what you think about the game, if you have this project, what you think about it. Also, if you have ideas for further content you'd like to see us produce here on Cry Havoc Wargaming, we look at the content section, or the comment section for that as well. If you like the video, I hope you'll hit like. And if you want to receive further notifications for videos like this one that may help you determine how to better spend your money or time in your tabletop wargaming hobby, then I hope you'll hit subscribe and ring our notification bell. Till next time, cheers.